Well, Space Wolves fans, it is time to complete the second half of the Claw Pack, and this one we are going to be specifically looking at the action figure that has the full-on beard but is completely bald up top, and then we are going to be taking a look at the second wolf-headed helmet action figure that is sporting the single axe. I think in the first half of this review, JoyToy did a very good job in remaking these action figures, so I expect that this second half will be just as good. But there's only one way to find out, so let's get to the review.
And I'm hungry like a wolf. Ow!
So clearly this action figure is sporting an MK10 helmet where you get to see some metallic red lenses and a metallic red area here. And just like the other action figures in this set, this one unfortunately does not have any sort of shading whatsoever on it. It would have been nice to see some darker vents over here to give this action figure more depth, as I have said before. So again, you may be wondering what is going on with this action figure's pauldron. Well, it just came unfortunately popped off from the body when I removed it from the plastic packaging. So this actually is to a benefit because I was going to highlight this action figure, weirdly enough, is an amalgamation between apparently a version 1 area here, where you have the pauldron that has this ball and socket joint here versus the current ones that we have, which has that plastic loop over here, and then the loop is where the pauldron gets attached to. And you can tell this is a version 2 or 3 just by the hands. They are very large. And then moving on to the pauldron, clearly once again a nicely screened on Space Wolves chapter symbol. There's a very cool icon over here where you get to see this red gem and then these rings over here. Another winged skull, just like the rest of the other two that we reviewed in the prior video. And then over here we get pretty much almost the same belt right here with the bones that are in a cross shape. In the middle area of this action figure, there is plenty of pouches that are happening here and a empty holster, and none of this stuff is highlighted. And unfortunately, once again, down here, there really isn't any action happening except a wolf's tail here, which has a nice gradient right here, as you can see. And that's pretty much it for the body of this action figure. Now, moving on with the head, I really like this one. I think this head really does exude a lot of Space Wolvesness here. You can see that the original color of this hair is gray and it's been highlighted up, probably with a dry brush here with a lighter gray. But regardless, I really do like this bare head. Now, moving on, we have yet another double-sided chainsword over here. This chainsword actually does mimic most of the chainswords that we see for the Astartes. Once again, I have to eat my words. I guess Frostfang is not the only double-sided chainsword here. And as we are looking at this bolt rifle here, it rocks a scope, and I will have to say the colors on this thing are absolutely beautiful and look exactly what you want in a bolt rifle. Got the black casing, the silver accents on the outside of it, and then a gold wing skull here to break up the monotony of the black. And once again down here you have a beautiful looking wolf's pelt with the color gradient. You have the lighter brown, moving on to the darker one. This is a closer view of the paw. So now let's move on to the final action figure of this claw pack. All right, let's pick this guy up and take a closer dive and see what we can glean off of from this action figure. The wolf's head is completely the same as his brother over here. There really isn't any difference whatsoever on it. Flat red lenses for the eyes, and then it has been highlighted up in certain areas to accent this color. Although on the pauldron there is a small difference where you can see a paw here, and as we flip around to the other side, there also is yet another difference here with a metallic bronze wolf's head as well as a wolf's tail and paw over here, along with the chapter symbol that we've seen. This action figure does have a little extra oomph to it in that not only does he have the winged skull, he has this amulet with a wolf's tooth on it, which is really cool. And as we move further on down, this guy's belt is rocking a wolf's skull right here. And then he also has a pelt that matches the capes of the other Space Wolves blood claws. So you get to see a little amulet here, another wolf's tooth, and he is also rocking a few accessories on his belt. You have a belt pouch here, a holstered bolt pistol, and then a combat knife over here. And this combat knife is also really cool and functional in that you can actually remove it and you can sheath it just like you saw right there. So that is the body of this action figure. And I think this action figure's party piece is clearly this power axe. It almost looks like a frost axe to me. But regardless, I really like the metallic gold blade edge over here. And you can see all these cool runes on the single-headed axe. And there is a wolf's head right here, followed by a wolf's tail to add a little bit more of a feral spice to this axe. And you also have a red handle right here that breaks up the other colors on this axe. So this is a very nice looking axe in my opinion. We have a standard issue bolt pistol here. Nothing that we haven't seen before in other review videos. And finally, we have this special looking backpack that his other wolf-headed brother is rocking. So you got these howling wolf's heads here as a personal banner with a skull in the middle. And instead of the regular vents, you have the wolf's heads right here. So this is a very unique and cool looking backpack that you won't see from any other chapter. And just in case if you missed the other half of the review video, I'm going to do a very quick comparison between a version 1 Blade Guard veteran from the Space Wolves chapter versus this action figure over here. And you can clearly see down here that this version 1 figure has a bunch of shading that's happening with it, especially it's noticeable in the back. There is a marked difference between the colors of this action figure. This is more of a muted gray just because of all the shading, while this is obviously brighter but lacks the same depth as this brother right here. So I kind of wish that JoyToy would have treated this guy right here the same as the Blade Guard veteran, but what can you do? And so that is the review of the other half of the Space Wolves Blood Claws. So it is now time to wrap it up. All right, let's conclude this other half of this review of this claw pack here. And what can I say about these action figures in that if you are a Space Wolves fan, this is definitely an excellent investment into getting your Space Wolves ranks filled out very nicely. So obviously on my left hand side, you have this action figure that has a very cool, unique Space Wolves helmet. And then he is rocking a very, very awesome looking axe. I love how that axe blade is a translucent blue and it just matches the whole entire look of the Space Wolves. The pelt that he is rocking as a loincloth is very nicely done as well. And the figure off to my right hand side, what can I say? I really like his side knot and the beard really screams Space Wolf. And I also do enjoy the wolf pelt on his back as well as his double-edged chainsword. So as I said to you before, if you're a Space Wolves fans, then this whole entire claw pack I would highly recommend you to get. And where should you get them? You should get them at David Toys because I have teamed up with them so that you can fulfill your plastic crack needs. Just click in the link in the description below and do not forget to use the code SNS to receive 12% off on your purchase. So this is Spruce and Studs signing off. Thank you once again for watching this review video. And once again, folks, I will see you all in the next one.